All right, what's going on, guys? We have some Monday Night Football Showdown slate to go over. Jacksonville and New Orleans preseason week 2. Now, this again just gonna be a general Q&A, so feel free to answer or feel free to ask any questions in the chat. This is an ugly one though, right? We have two teams that have 4 quarterbacks. We know the Jags are going to play four quarterbacks. The Saints might play 4. Both teams have a ton of wide receivers. I think if you look at the depth chart, I think Jacksonville has 16 wide receivers, I believe. Something crazy. Yeah, 16 wide receivers technically on the depth chart. It's just, it's not one that I think there's a big edge in. So I'm playing just more for fun. Just playing $10, really. That's it. Don't think there's a big edge, and I said in my YouTube video and on Patreon, I don't think you guys should play either. Or if you are going to play super light, because cashing or winning the big money in this tournament is going to come down to luck boxing into one of the guys that scores a touchdown, whether it be one of the 16 wide receivers for the Jags, one of the 10 wide receivers for the Saints. There are a couple guys out for the Saints in Traquan and Michael Thomas, but still, just not one I feel super confident in. So just going to be playing very, very light. Yeah, feel free to leave some questions in the chat, guys. I'll be on for 20 minutes, so ask away. It's been a phenomenal preseason for us. We've cashed basically every single preseason slate so far. We've had takedowns almost every single slate as well, just like the Summer League. But this one, don't feel great about. Now, the safe way to go is obviously, defenses. Both defenses will be out there the entire time. Both teams only have one kicker, too, so the kickers are safer options, too. Quarterbacks, again, we're for sure going to get 4 quarterbacks for the Jags. We may only have 3 quarterbacks for the Saints, possibly 4, but just hard to feel really good about any of the quarterbacks when at most they're going to see a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half. What's going on, guys? Patrick, Peter, how's it going, man? Never done a preseason show. Slate is an optimal to build your lineup with the defensive captain. So in a super low-scoring game, that will be optimal. Now, this is actually projected to be a little bit higher scoring for most preseason games. Like, a lot of the preseason games are 35 to 38 over-under. This one's at a 40 over-under. We do have starters, for both teams projected to play a couple series. So it really kind of depends, I'll say. If this ends up being a super ugly game, like 10-3, then yeah, defense and the captain is going to be optimal. But we do have starters for both teams projected to play a decent amount. Now, news to go over, Kamara is out. He's not going to play for the Saints. Traquan Smith not dressed either. So I would say the Saints are a little bit thinner than the Jags. The Jags just have so many bodies that it's hard to feel good about any of those guys. Would you play a quarterback or go to a kicker? Depends what you're playing. Quarterback can still throw a touchdown in like a series, so they could still have upside, but you're probably going to need that touchdown for them to be in the winning lineup, right? If you play a quarterback and they don't score a touchdown in a quarter, how many points can they really get? Yeah, that's over on Patreon, core plays and all that, but I just don't play big on this slate, guys. I'm telling you. We're coming in first and second, beginner's luck. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Like, I'm for sure playing, but I'm only playing $10. I usually have way more action because there's a lot bigger edge. Like, for example, last night, right, we had the San Francisco 49ers had 2 running backs. 2. Half the field faded Hasty, and 75% of the field faded Gallman. That made no sense, right? So there was a big edge in that one. This one, I will mention here at the Saints, so they are a little bit thinner. They have 5 running backs in the roster. Kamara is not going to play. So only 4 healthy running backs is better than 6 healthy running backs for the Jags. So, if you're deciding 50-50, would probably lean towards a Saints player. Thoughts on Colin Johnson? So, he played the most snaps for the Jags last week. Now, wide receiver is super high variance, especially in the preseason. So, if neither team is super short-handed at wide receiver, what I like doing is I like playing a wide receiver I think will be low-owned. So what I'll do is I'll kind of look around, see what the industry is saying, and right now we have guys like Colin Johnson, Lil Jordan Humphrey. I think those 2 are going to be the most popular wide receivers. So for me, I don't really want to play a popular wide receiver in GPPs when they're super high variance. So yes, Colin Johnson's probably one of the highest owned wide receivers tonight. But why would I play someone that's going to be, very popular when I can just go to, Philip Dorsett for a fifth of the ownership. Or just go to another receiver on this team. So, yeah, Colin Johnson might play the most snaps of the wide receivers or close to it. But if he's going to have all that ownership, I would just rather go to a lower-owned guy in GPPs. I've made this argument a lot now recently. In Discord yesterday, I was really talking about Tyrone Johnson for the Chargers. The reason was he had the questionable tag. The news hadn't updated. He was banged up like 3 weeks ago, and that was still like the most recent news. So he ended up being 1% owned when I knew he was full go. He played the last game. So I liked really getting to Tyrone Johnson. Now, he had a solid game. He had 4 catches, 1%, right? So I want to go to those wide receivers and GPPs that are going to be unowned. Because with there being so much variance involved in wide receivers, I don't want to play chalky wide receivers. So say, for example, Colin Johnson is 40% owned. Well, if he has a big day, you still don't have that big of an edge to the field. If you go to one of those lower-owned wide receivers, say a 1-2% owned guy, and they catch a touchdown, you're in great shape. No, Traquan Smith's not going to play. From what I just saw, let me just confirm that. But yeah, I believe he's out. Yeah, he's not dressed, so he is not playing. So again, if you go to the Saints wide receivers, no Michael Thomas, no Traquan Smith. So technically they have 8 healthy wide receivers. Kevin White is still on this roster somehow, former Chicago Bear wide receiver. Thought it starts at 4:40. Thought it starts at 4:40. That's a Patreon stream. Yeah. So Patreon stream, we'll be going over that in about 15 minutes. So does ETN get more run? I would think. He only played, 6-7 snaps last game? I would think he does. But, again, the Jags still have, 6 healthy running backs? Now, the positive with ETN is, obviously he's a rookie, 1. And number 2, he's a great pass-catching back. And that's good for Draftkings. I just, right now he's listed number 3 in the depth chart. They have Hyde and Robinson still. I would think he gets more run, but how much more is in question. I'm going to wait for week 3. Yeah, I think that's probably this, again, either take the day off or play super light tonight. I think that's good. Juwan Johnson, baby. Yeah, so Juwan Johnson, a wide receiver converted to tight end. He had a couple catches last game. He's been more involved since transitioning to tight end. If you want to roll the dice on him, I don't think he'll be super popular. Kevin White season DK. I don't think I can do it. Any love for the kickers? Both safe. Both are safe options. Both are going to be out there. So both teams only have 1 kicker, which is nice. Yeah, if your kicker makes 2 field goals and a couple extra points, they're probably going to be in the winning lineup, unless this game turns into a massive shootout. Hogan out as well, just FYI, good to know. Would you play a kicker over a quarterback? So I think the kicker is actually safer. Now, again, one of these quarterbacks is probably going to throw a touchdown. But there's 4 quarterbacks playing for the Jags, possibly 4 playing for the Saints. It's obviously going to be tough to try to guess which one throws a touchdown. Now, best quarterbacks are probably Jameis and Trevor Lawrence, but we're probably only get about a quarter of Trevor Lawrence and maybe a quarter or so out of Jameis. Would you take Washington over ETN? So Washington actually barely played last game. He only played 6 snaps, which is a little bit concerning. But then again, ETN barely played too. So I don't really have a super strong take on that one. Winston or Tony Jones? I think you got to go with the running back, right? With both teams playing a lot of quarterbacks, at least 3 each, then I think you just got to lean for a guy like Tony Jones. Yeah, still deciding that. Thoughts on cash? Yeah, cash games, you want to focus more again on defenses, kickers, running backs. You can throw a quarterback in there, but again, no quarterback in the site's going to play for a long time. You can watch online, but okay, let's see. What do you think about Callaway and Jones Jr.? So Callaway is one of those receivers I think will be popular. He had a decent game last week. He's been making good impressions in camp. Again, for me, at least when I'm looking for wide receivers and GPPs, I want to go to guys who are lower owned. So I do think Callaway is one of the more optimal wide receiver plays, but again, I want to go to lower owned guys. And Marvin Jones Jr., he probably gets us a couple series, makes him in play. But again, there's so much luck in wide receiver for GPPs that I'm just gonna go to lower owned guys. So for the Browns, what was it yesterday, right? We had Cordero Hodge at 10% ownership. I think had 0 catches the game before. The Browns only 4 healthy receivers. I was like, hey, all right, no one's gonna play Cordero Hodge. I'm going to him. So that's my take. When neither team is shorthanded a wide receiver, I'm just gonna go to a low owned guy if I'm gonna play one. Because the chance that they catch a touchdown, I just have a massive edge to the field. I don't want to play a chalky wide receiver in GPPs. What do you think about Latavius Murray? I think he's doable. He'll probably start. Again, they only have 4 running backs, so the Saints running backs a little bit safer to target. High upside wide receiver. I mean, basically none of the chalk guys. So, again, I mentioned Colin Johnson's been talked about a lot. Little Jordan Humphrey's been talked about a lot. I think Callaway's going to be popular. So basically any receiver that is not being talked up a lot. I'm totally lost on who to roster on the slate. Yeah, it's going to be an ugly one. I would recommend playing very light. There's no best wide receiver. It's just a matter of, for me in GPPs, is ownership, right? So I'll repeat myself. Like, if I'm playing a wide receiver is a super high risk, high reward. I want to play a guy that's going to be lower owned. How many wide receivers are too many? So if this game turns into a shootout, then you can play 2-3 wide receivers. Again, though, super high risk, right? Jones and Freeman are optimal backs. I think they look good. Saints only have four running backs. Jameis has 3 drives tonight and 2 touchdown passes. Yeah, so if you feel really confident in that, then you can roll the dice on Jameis. Like, he'll probably play a quarter to a quarter and a half. He's their best quarterback overall. Like, I don't think that's in question. Taysom Hill's got the rushing upside. Now, what I will say about Taysom Hill is it kind of seems like everyone saw that he didn't run last game, and everyone's just going to completely avoid Taysom Hill. Just because he didn't run last game, that doesn't mean he's not going to run the ball this game, right? I know the Saints are trying to get him to be more of a pocket passer, but I think people just overreact, right? Recency bias after one game. I know Taysom Hill didn't run the ball last game. He can still go out and get you 30 to 40 yards in the ground, maybe run one in. So there's always overreactions, like Hammond. So again, that's one issue. Yes, Hammond had a good game last game. He had, I forget how many catches he had, but he led the team in catches. 6 on 7 targets. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to raise the ownership for him. He only played, 21 offensive snaps? Again, if I'm going to wide receivers and GPPs, I want to go to lower-owned guys who didn't play well last game, or guys who were out there but didn't have a ton of catches. Lambo or Dare for cash games, I think it's basically 50-50. Like, Dare did get the most work last game for the Jags running backs. They still have 6 healthy backs. Lambo's going to be out there the entire game. It kind of just depends on how the game flows, right? If it's a super ugly game and it's like 9-6 and Lambo's obviously going to be more optimal. So I can't really predict how the game's going to go. I will say it's projected to be a little bit higher scoring. Maher or Lambo starting? Lambo's the only kicker on the Jags, and Rosas is the only kicker on the Saints. You'll sleep on the Saints defense, let alone home. No, defenses are very safe. I said that in my video. Defenses are very, very safe. They're going to be out there the entire time. They can get points by sacks, fumble. Like, they can get points in a ton of different ways. Preseason, always lower scoring games. So, yeah, defenses are 2 of the better plays in the slate. Is it Taysom Hill birthday narrative? Might have to play him then. Why would you run as a quarterback in preseason? Why would you run? If you have like a 20-yard run, why not? How much did Montgomery play? He was out there a decent amount. I want to say 25 snaps or so. He'll play a lot in the slot. Funny again, he started his career at Green Bay as a wide receiver, then pivoted to running back, and now he's back to wide receiver again. Hammond or Austin, so those are 2 guys I don't like. They're in play, obviously, but they both had good games last game. Hammond had 6 catches. Austin had, 4 or 5 catches? Would rather go to guys who are going to be lower owned. All right, guys, we're almost at 200 concurrent viewers. Appreciate you coming to check out the short live stream. I'll be live for another 5 minutes or so. So any other questions, leave them in here. Again, I want to repeat myself, though. Just play light tonight. There's not a big edge here. Standout prize picks. I mean, usually I'll lean unders if I'm going to go to anywhere on prize picks. Let's see. Let's refresh it. Fantasy score. Yeah, so like a few of these wide receivers feel a little bit high. Like Trevor Lawrence, 5.8. So he's going to get, 2 series? If he doesn't get in the end zone, that's going under. So I would probably lean the under on Trevor Lawrence. Now, if he scores a touchdown, you're probably dead. But He's gonna need in a drive or two. He's gonna need to get in the end zone. So probably would lean under on Lawrence. And then, yeah, some of these receivers feel a little bit high. Like Marquez Callaway at 5.5 feels a little bit high. I know he had a decent game last game, but that also feels a little bit high. So maybe the under on those two. That's over on Patreon, like top plays and stuff like that. Again, though, not a slate I feel super good about. Montgomery, 44% of snaps, 28 snaps. Yeah, 28. Okay. I knew it was like in the 20s somewhere. Been loving your breakdowns. Who's your favorite captain tonight? Thanks, man. Depends what you're playing, right? For GPPs, I think you can roll the dice on like a super low-owned wide receiver. For cash games, the safe way to go is probably a running back or a defense. So I don't know if there's not really one standout play for me. I would tell you if there's one play that stands out way more than the rest. But yeah, running backs, defenses are where I'm looking to more for cash games. Playing a birthday narrative is 150K one, so we might have to run it back then. Lambo or the Jags D for cash games. I think it's basically a toss-up. Both are going to be out there obviously the entire game. Can I play two defenses? Yeah, of course. I believe two defenses was in the winning lineup last game for the 49ers game, 49ers-Chargers, I believe. So as long as the game is low scoring, both defenses can definitely be in the winning lineup. Anyway, we can play Ian Book. Be careful with Ian Book. From what I saw, there's a chance he doesn't play today. So be careful there. So if Jameis plays 5 series, then you wouldn't. No, Jameis is not going to play 5 series. We got, a quarter and a half from him. Then Taysom Hill's going to come in. Jags kicker. Yeah, both kickers are in play here, right? Because some teams in the preseason have 2 kickers, and then I completely avoid them. But when you only have 1 kicker each, they're going to be out there the entire game. Again, if they make a couple field goals, there's a decent chance they're in the winning lineup. First time watcher. Hey, appreciate that, man, Brandon. Hope you enjoy. It was Sanu's birthday yesterday, and he scored a TD. Yeah, definitely wasn't considering Mohamed Sanu yesterday, but he got in. He got in the end zone. 14K in the bankroll, nice, man. Yeah, just been building up since the start of the NBA season. Started with 500. It's been a pretty decent run. A lot of the bigger wins. So I won 5K in best ball for NBA. Had a chance at 20K, but I was in the finals and like all my stars got injured, and I was the only one without Westbrook. And obviously at the end of the season, Westbrook was just he's playing 40 minutes a game. Winston 5 series, 5 picks in a quarter. Obviously, he can throw picks. We know that a lot of people score in the birthday LOL. You like Dorsett, he'll be low owned. So he's a wide receiver, I think he'll be low owned. I don't think he had a catch last game. So there's one where it's like, okay, for GPPs, he didn't have a catch. Not a lot of people are going to play him. Why not roll the dice in him? Obviously, there's a chance he gets a 0, but if Dorsett catches a long one and he's 3-4% owned, you just have that massive edge. So that's why I don't really want, when both teams have a lot of wide receivers, I'd rather take a shot on a low-owned guy. Captain Callaway, Saints D, Hill, Ogunbowale, Jones. Yeah, so like Captain Callaway is obviously risky captaining any wide receiver just because the high variance. I will say with Callaway, I think he's going to be decently popular. What do you think of Tony Jones? Yeah, I think Tony Jones, Lambo, Tavon Austin, Ogunbowale, Saints D, and Callaway. So you have 2 wide receivers in there. If it's GPPs, it's fine. But again, wide receivers are definitely risky, right? If your wide receiver gets you 4 fancy points, you're probably happy. I'm going 5-1 Saints. Yeah, I'm fine loading. Like the Saints are a little bit more shorthanded, so if I was going to target a team more, I'd rather go to the Saints. Jameis 3 drives and 2 tutties. Again, definitely possible. Jameis is their best quarterback, so if you want to roll the dice on Jameis, that's completely fine. Safest running backs, probably the Saints guys. They only have 4 healthy running backs, so they have Kamara out. You think Ogunbowale or Colin Johnson makes more in a Saints 5-1 stack? Well, Ogunbowale is safer. Running back is just safer than a wide receiver. So depends on your risk tolerance. Colin Johnson obviously has some upside. He played the most last game. Is Jameis a captain viable? Yeah. If he throws 2 touchdowns in 2 series, then he'll probably be in the winning lineup in the captain. So yes, but you're going to need him to get in the end zone. If he doesn't get in the end zone in like a quarter, yeah, playing from behind, I guess. Cool. All right, guys, last minute. Appreciate you guys coming in. Captain Tony Jones, I think it's pretty safe. Minshew probably only gets a quarter. He'll be low owned, though, of like the quarterbacks, right? I think Trevor Lawrence will get some ownership, obviously because of the name. I think Jameis and Taysom Hill will get some ownership. So Minshew probably goes very under-owned. But you never know, right? In a quarter, he could throw a long ball. He could throw a long touchdown. Playing Winston, Hill, and Lawrence, YOLO. I probably wouldn't do it, but hey, if the game turns into a shootout, that could work. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming to check out the shorter live stream. We have one more week of preseason, 4-game slate, I believe, on Friday, then Saturday, Sunday games. So I'll have content up, videos, live streams, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys coming to check it out. I'm going to go stream for Patreon now. So good luck. Hope you guys all win some money. Hope you land on the correct receiver tonight. And I'll see you back here in the next one.